Winning a Cy Young Award is one of the most impressive things a pitcher can do in their career, and winning two usually means that pitcher is one of the best of his generation. However, there is a handful of legends that took home this award 3 or more times, and we're going to go over all of them in this video. Starting with Roger Clemens. Known as the Rocket, Savannah Bananas legend Roger Clemens had a career that spanned over 2 decades and saw him dominate in both the American and National Leagues. Clemens' journey to greatness didn't happen overnight. It began in the mid-1980s with the Boston Red Sox, where he quickly became known for his fastball that could touch 100 miles per hour. His first Cy Young came in 1986, however, that was more of a product of raw speed. Clemens posted a 2.48 ERA that season, and his 20 strikeout game against the Seattle Mariners is still one of the most iconic moments of his career. But the real story behind Clemens' Cy Young that year was his dominance in a league full of future Hall of Famers. Clemens wasn't just competing with hitters, but with other pitchers who were excellent that year. By the end of the season, Clemens had earned his place as the best pitcher in the game. However, the Rockets' story didn't end there. After being traded to the Toronto Blue Jays, Clemens embarked on what would become one of the most dominant runs in baseball history. He would win 2 more Cy Young Awards with the Blue Jays in 97 and 98. In 97, he posted a 2.05 ERA, narrowly edging out Mike Mussina and Kenny Rogers, including his 7th in 2004, continuing to defy age and expectations. But by the end of his career, Clemens had transformed from a talented young pitcher into an unstoppable force. This wasn't without a little help though, as he will forever be controversial and has not been elected into Coopers yet due to substance abuse, but his 7 Cy Youngs is a record and it's going to be hard for anyone to ever beat that. Now, second place all time with 5 Cy Youngs is the big unit, Randy Johnson. He pitched in the same era but was in a different league for most of his Cy Youngs. His towering presence struck fear into the hearts of birds, as well as batters, especially lefties, for over 2 decades. Standing at 6'10", Johnson's ability to bring a fastball that reached triple digits made him a living nightmare. But what made Johnson truly special wasn't just that he threw the ball hard, but the fact that it seemed even faster due to his release point being closer to the plate, as well as his excellent secondary pitches. Johnson's first Cy Young came in 95 with the Seattle Mariners, where he put together one of the most dominant years ever, finishing with a 2.48 ERA and 204 strikeouts. However, it was his time with the Arizona Diamondbacks in the late 90s and early 2000s that cemented his place as one of the greatest pitchers in history. Johnson would go on to win 5 Cy Young Awards with a remarkable 4 in a row from 99 to 2002. The 99 season in particular stands out. Johnson finished with a 2.48 ERA, a ridiculous 364 strikeouts, and 19 wins. This was the same year where Pedro Martinez had a 2.07 ERA with 313 strikeouts, but they were in different leagues. Perhaps Johnson's greatest accomplishment, though, came in 2001 when he helped lead the Diamondbacks to their first World Series title. He was virtually untouchable in the postseason with a 1.52 ERA and 19 strikeouts in 16 innings during the World Series. His 2001 World Series performance, where he shared the MVP with Curt Schilling, remains one of the greatest pitching performances in postseason history. While 2002 was his last Cy Young, he finished second in 2004 at 40 years old, which was also the same year he threw a perfect game. Nowadays, you'll sometimes see him on NFL fields as a cameraman, funnily enough. Now tied for 3rd place with 4 Cy Youngs, Steve Carlton. The first thing that comes to mind is durability. Known as Lefty, Carlton was the quintessential workhorse of the Philadelphia Phillies. He was a pitcher who could go deep into games, who thrived in throwing innings, and who understood the value of being both mentally and physically prepared for a marathon season. Carlton's first Cy Young Award came in 1972 when he posted an incredible 1.97 ERA and struck out 310 batters for a Phillies team that finished last in the NL East. What makes this Cy Young special is how it was a reflection of Carlton's brilliance in a season where he often had little run support. While his teammates struggled, Carlton was the bright spot on the team, and his performance was truly extraordinary given the circumstances. However, Carlton's Cy Young story wasn't limited to just that one year. He would win 3 more Cy Young Awards during his career, with his second coming in 1977 when he posted a 2.64 ERA and 23 wins. In 1980, Carlton earned his 3rd Cy Young after leading the Phillies to a World Series title. He had a 2.34 ERA that season and struck out 286 batters, helping to anchor the team's pitching staff during their run to the championship. His final time winning this award would come in 1982 at 37 years old. He wasn't nearly as dominant as his prime, but still threw nearly 300 innings with nearly 300 strikeouts and posted an ERA at 3.10. I feel like Carlton is a really underrated pitcher, as big baseball fans will know him, but other guys on this list like Clemens, Johnson, and really most of the guys coming up get a lot more attention than him. He struck out over 4,000 batters and won more Cy Youngs than almost anyone else in history, so he deserves a lot more recognition. Now tied with Carlton with 4 Cy Youngs as well is Greg Maddux. When Greg Maddux took the mound, it wasn't about overpowering the hitter, it was about outthinking them. Maddux, the mad scientist of the mound, used pinpoint control, changing speeds, and hitting the corners with precision that made hitters look foolish. His career wasn't built on velocity, but on the art of pitching. Maddux's first Cy Young Award came in 1992 with the Chicago Cubs, where he posted a 2.18 ERA and struck out 181 batters, but it was during his time with the Atlanta Braves that Maddux became a household name. From 1992 to 95, Maddux won 4 consecutive Cy Young Awards, and in those 4 years, he posted mind-boggling ERAs: 2.18, 2.36, 1.56, and 1.63. Maddux was the epitome of consistency, always able to hit his spots and change speeds in ways that frustrated hitters. Imagine having a 2.36 ERA be your worst in a 4-year span. It's just ridiculous. But what made Maddux's success even more remarkable was the competition he faced during that time. Pitchers like teammates John Smoltz and Tom Glavine, as well as Randy Johnson and Pedro Martinez in their National League years. Some of these guys were flamethrowers who simply overpowered guys, while Maddux had the ability to get hitters to swing at pitches that topped out in the low 90s. Now for the rest of this video, all of these pitchers have 3 Cy Young Awards. And the first one I want to talk about is Sandy Koufax. In the early 1960s, Sandy Koufax was the undisputed king of the mound. His fastball was electric, his curveball was devastating, and his control was so precise that hitters had no idea what was coming next. Koufax's dominance in such a short career is almost mythic. His 3 Cy Young Awards came in an era of fierce competition, and his performances were often transcendent. Koufax was for the most part a solid pitcher in his first few years in the league, but starting in 1963 when he led the Los Angeles Dodgers to a World Series title and won his first of 3 Cy Young Awards in a 4-year span, he posted a 1.88 ERA that season and struck out 236 batters, but it was his back-to-back Cy Young seasons in 65 and 66 that solidified his place among the greats. In 65, Koufax went 26-8 with a 2.04 ERA and 382 strikeouts, while in 1966, he followed it up with a 1.73 ERA and 317 strikeouts. Koufax's impact wasn't just in the regular season, it was in the biggest games. His 10 strikeout performance in Game 7 of the 1965 World Series against the Minnesota Twins is still widely regarded as one of the greatest pitching performances of all time. You would think after winning a Cy Young at age 30 that he would have a lot left in the tank. The previous 3 guys all pitched into their 40s, but Koufax's body just couldn't pitch anymore, and he went out on top. He won a World Series, 3 Cy Youngs, threw 4 no-hitters, including a perfect game, all in just 12 years. Now from one Dodgers legend to another, we have Clayton Kershaw, the first of 3 active pitchers on this list, and the epitome of modern pitching excellence. Known for his precision and his deadly off-speed pitches, Kershaw's career has been a masterclass in consistency, dominating the National League for years. But his journey to greatness wasn't without its ups and downs. Kershaw's first Cy Young Award came in 2011 when he led the Los Angeles Dodgers with a 2.28 ERA and struck out 248 batters. What made that season remarkable wasn't just the stats, but the fact that he earned his place among the best despite stiff competition. Yohan Santana, Roy Halladay, and Cliff Lee were among the top pitchers in the league. But Kershaw's mix of consistency and strikeout power made him a deserving winner. His 2.28 ERA was the best in the majors that season, and he finished with an impressive 248 strikeouts like I mentioned, and that was the most in the NL that season. Kershaw arguably could have won in 2012 as well, but fell short to R.A. Dickey. His second Cy Young Award came in 2013 when he posted a 1.83 ERA, the lowest in the league, had 16 wins and 232 strikeouts, but what set Kershaw apart that season was his utter dominance. He was never a flash in the pan. Each year he returned more polished, more devastating. The battle for the Cy Young that year was tough, with competitors like Adam Wainwright and Jose Fernandez putting together excellent seasons, but Kershaw's brilliance won out. By the time Kershaw claimed his 3rd Cy Young in 2014, he was already considered one of the greatest pitchers of his generation. That season he posted a crazy 1.77 ERA, 239 strikeouts, and only 31 walks. His ERA+, which is a statistic that adjusts ERA for park and league factors, of 202 was the best in the league by a wide margin. Despite competition from Johnny Cueto and Madison Bumgarner, Kershaw's dominance was indisputable once again. However, the narrative of Kershaw's career isn't just about regular season accolades. In the postseason, Kershaw faced immense pressure, particularly after several disappointing performances. But in 2020, Kershaw finally helped lead the Dodgers to a World Series title. His redemption arc in that postseason added another layer to his already rich legacy, proving that even the best can evolve and rise to the occasion when it matters most. Even at 37 years old and battling a lot of injuries over the past decade, Kershaw's still getting the job done. I'm writing this in August, and he currently has a 3.14 ERA on the season. Next up, I want to talk about Pedro Martinez. When he took the mound, hitters knew exactly what they were facing. A pitching genius who can make even the best hitters in the game look foolish. Small in stature but enormous in talent, Pedro was a pitcher who relied on a devastating mix of a fastball that could touch 97 miles per hour and a changeup that looked like it was moving in slow motion compared to everything else. It was this combination of raw power and deceptive movement that made him nearly untouchable. Pedro's first Cy Young Award came in 97 with the Montreal Expos, a season in which he posted a 1.9 ERA and struck out 305 batters. but it was his move to the Boston Red Sox that defined his career and cemented his place in history. In '99, Pedro had what might be considered the best pitching season ever. His ERA was a ridiculous 2.07, but it was his strikeout to walk ratio of 313 strikeouts and just 37 walks that showed how utterly dominant he was. His second Cy Young award came in '99 when he posted a 2.07 ERA with 313 strikeouts and an insane 9.8 WAR. This wouldn't even be his best season in a 2-year span, because the next year he had a 1.74 ERA in 217 innings and struck out less batters at 284, while only allowing 44 walks. While his strikeouts were down a little bit, his ERA was improved and he had nearly 12 B-WAR and an ERA plus approaching 300, which was the highest in over 50 years. Since then, the only 2 times pitchers have even been close to his ERA plus of 291 was Shane Bieber and Trevor Bauer in the quote-unquote Mickey Mouse season. Anyway, once again, he was virtually unhittable, and a year filled with star pitchers like Randy Johnson, Roy Halladay, and Curt Schilling, Pedro stood head and shoulders above the rest. His ability to neutralize hitters with his pitching smarts and his off-speed stuff made him an unforgettable figure in baseball history. And remember, this was the peak of the steroid era too, which makes this even more impressive. His ability to control the game and dictate outcomes was unmatched, and even though injuries eventually led to a decline in his career, Pedro's legacy as one of the game's most electric pitchers remains unquestioned. Don't forget this important quote from the man himself, though.
My hat and I call the Yankees my daddies.
Now going back a couple decades, we have Jim Palmer. He wasn't just the ace of the Baltimore Orioles, he was the definition of consistency and composure on the mound. Palmer's career spanned 19 seasons, all with the Orioles, and in that time he built a reputation for his durability and poise. He wasn't the overpowering pitcher some of his contemporaries were, but he had something just as valuable: impeccable control and the ability to pitch in any situation. Palmer won 3 Cy Young Awards during his career, but it was his ability to perform in clutch situations that made his legacy truly special. His first Cy Young Award came in 1973 when Palmer posted a 2.40 ERA and struck out 158 batters. That season, the American League was full of talented pitchers like Catfish Hunter, and Palmer's dominance in the strike zone, along with an impressive 22 wins, earned him the honor. Palmer's second Cy Young Award came in 1975 when he posted a 2.09 ERA and struck out 193 batters. This season was even more spectacular than 1973, but Palmer's ability to stay consistent and perform made him invaluable to the Orioles. He would win his third and final Cy Young the very next year, while also not being named an All-Star. Wasn't his very best season, but nonetheless, Palmer was great again with a 2.51 ERA, 315 innings pitched, and 22 wins. It wasn't just about the Cy Youngs for Palmer, he was the ace of the Orioles pitching staff during their World Series runs in the 1960s and 70s, and his leadership on the mound was often the difference in games. Palmer's ability to pitch effectively in all situations, combined with his longevity and 3 Cy Young Awards, make him one of the game's most respected figures. Around the same time in the National League, we have Tom Seaver. For the New York Mets, there was no pitcher more revered than Tom Seaver. He was the player who helped turn the franchise from perennial losers into World Series champions. Seaver's fastball was fantastic, it was powerful, precise, and moved more than the Athletics. Seaver won 3 Cy Young Awards as well as Rookie of the Year over the course of his illustrious career, but it was his first Cy Young in 1969 with the Mets. That's the stuff of legend. That year, Seaver posted a 2.21 ERA, struck out 208 batters, and led the Mets to a World Series title. It was the ultimate redemption story for a team that had never won anything of note. Seaver's dominance was key to the Mets' success, and his ability to elevate his game when it mattered most earned him the nickname the franchise. Seaver's second Cy Young came in 1973 when he finished with a 2.08 ERA and 251 strikeouts. While the Mets didn't win the World Series that year, Seaver's individual performance was still extraordinary. His third Cy Young came in 1975 when he posted a 2.38 ERA and helped keep the Mets competitive in a stacked division. Seaver wasn't just about the awards though, his work ethic, leadership, and consistency made him one of the most beloved players in Mets history. And while he faced stiff competition in his career from guys like Steve Carlton, his 3 Cy Youngs were a clear indication of his greatness. He also narrowly missed out on a 4th Cy Young later in his career where he lost by just 3 points to Fernando Valenzuela. I think people know that Seaver was a great pitcher, but I don't think people realize just how good he was for so long. Now for the second active pitcher on this list, Justin Verlander. Verlander's name is synonymous with power and consistency, and aging like a fine wine. His journey to greatness is marked by dominance, resilience, and an ability to adapt to every challenge that came his way. Verlander won Rookie of the Year in 2006 with the Detroit Tigers, during a season in which he was just 23 years old. He posted an impressive 3.63 ERA for a rookie and struck out 124 batters, and helped lead the Tigers to the World Series. But what really made that season stand out wasn't just his stuff, it was his poise. As a young pitcher, he seemed way more mature than his years. He managed to handle the pressure of the postseason and solidified his reputation as one of the game's brightest young stars. However, that was just the start, as 5 years later in 2011, he would have one of the best pitching seasons of this century. In 2011, Verlander posted a 2.40 ERA, struck out 250 batters, and finished with a 24-5 record. That season, Verlander didn't just win the Cy Young, he also won the MVP of the American League and a pitching triple crown, while becoming just the second pitcher in history to win both MVP and Cy Young in the same season. Competing against fellow stars like CC Sabathia and Jared Weaver, Verlander's all-around excellence stood out in a big way. His ability to dominate on both the mound and in high-leverage situations wasn't matched. I was just 8 years old in 2011, and I still vividly remember his performance this season. Verlander wouldn't win another Cy Young for 8 years when he won in the Juice Ball 2019 season, but I need to talk about the 2016 season first. Verlander got second in 2012 and arguably could have won, but 2016 was a robbery. Rick Porcello had a fine season, but outside of having more wins and a very slightly higher ERA+, Verlander did everything better and even got more first place votes, but still lost to the voting system. I know there's videos on this year's Cy Young voting, so I suggest watching those if you're interested, because there's just a lot to this. Anyway, Verlander's second Cy Young came in 2019 when he was with the Houston Astros. By this point in his career, Verlander had become a pitcher with a unique blend of experience while still throwing hard. At 36, he posted a 2.58 ERA and had 300 strikeouts on the dot, and proved that even as he aged, his fastball still had electric life to it. What made this season so impressive wasn't just the numbers, it was how Verlander was able to adapt as he entered his mid-30s. While some pitchers may begin to fade and taper off by then, Verlander has found new ways to outthink hitters, evolving into a more strategic pitcher without sacrificing his velocity or stuff. Now in 2019, you could argue his teammate Garrett Cole deserved the Cy Young this year. Remember how insane 2019 Garrett Cole was, by the way? But regardless, Verlander still had one of his best seasons this year. Finally, in 2022, after returning from Tommy John at 39 years old, Verlander would win his third Cy Young and have a 1.75 ERA and 185 Ks while leading the Astros to their first uncontroversial World Series title. 2025 is possibly Verlander's last year, as he has not really had a great year with the Giants at 42 years old, but I guess we'll just have to see. Now for the final active player on this list, as well as the final player here in general, we have Mad Max Scherzer. The first word that comes to mind is relentless. From the very start of his career, Scherzer was known for his bulldog mentality. His approach to pitching is as aggressive as they come, focusing on commanding the zone, throwing fastballs that move as though they have a mind of their own, and unleashing a slider that keeps batters guessing. Scherzer's first Cy Young came in 2013 during his breakout year with the Detroit Tigers. He finished that season with a 2.9 ERA and 240 strikeouts, which he would actually best in his next 6 seasons, and his performance that year set the tone for what would become a legendary career. However, it wasn't just the numbers that made Scherzer special, it was his ability to compete. Scherzer's second Cy Young came in 2016 when he posted a 2.96 ERA with 284 strikeouts. What made the season significant wasn't just his numbers, but how he became the backbone of the Washington Nationals pitching staff, helping them to a division title. Scherzer had to fend off tough competition that year with John Lester and Kyle Hendricks both posting impressive seasons, but his dominance on the mound, particularly in big games, made him a deserved winner. By the time Scherzer claimed his third Cy Young in 2017, he had already solidified himself as one of the most dominant pitchers of that era. That season he posted a 2.51 ERA and 268 strikeouts, leading the National League in strikeouts for the second time in his career. It was a vintage Scherzer season, pitching with fire, ruthlessness, and precision. This competition that year was fierce once again, with Clayton Kershaw and Zach Greinke both putting together strong seasons, but Scherzer's relentlessness on the mound stood out. His ability to take command of the game, even when facing the best teams and hitters, made him an elite talent and one of the true workhorses of the league. Scherzer hasn't won Cy Young since, but led the Nationals to their first World Series title, as well as being a part of the Texas Rangers' first title. While he is far removed from what he was at his peak, he is putting together a solid season for the Blue Jays at age 40. And that's every pitcher to win at least 3 Cy Youngs. If you're interested, I did a video like this going over players who have won at least 3 MVPs, so if you want to check that out, link is in the description as well as the end screen. I have quite a few other videos, so if you're interested in that content, check out the rest of the videos on my channel. If you made it to the end of this video, maybe you enjoyed it, so I would appreciate a like, comment, and subscribe, as it really helps me out. At the time of writing this, I'm at just over 400 subscribers, and I'm trying to get to 1,000, so if you could subscribe and help me, that would be really appreciated. Anyway, thank you for watching Baseball Domain, and I'll see you next time.